Joro D is one of the community. He's part of the National Ambulance Service. And they, of course, are on call 24/7. They do it by shift operation, obviously. But Jar actually was part of the call out, actually, to Amy's dad's situation when he collapsed, having just got out of the shower. Jar, good morning.
Good morning, Neill. Thanks for having me on.
I won't keep you long. The Community Engagement Manager with probably the Southern Division. Is that right?
So I'm the National Community Engagement Manager, so we run it all out of Cork here for the country.
You know when you get a call out like that, it was extraordinarily fast. Say, for instance, how quickly the fire brigade personnel got there. Time's of the essence, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Neil. I mean, when somebody suffers a cardiac arrest, effectively their heart to stop pumping blood. You know, they effectively have died at that moment, and it is so important then for the likes of the Looney family who recognise this has happened. They activated the 999 system. Excuse me. And then, the call takers over the phone assisted the family at the time to perform CPR in very stressful circumstances for that family. I can imagine doing CPR on their father. But I suppose the important thing there was that they activated the emergency services, and within seconds of them giving the details to the call taker, it triggered an alert straight away. So we had our ambulances dispatched, but also we had our alert system go off, which means that a text message goes out to the likes of the community first responders, the Cork City Fire Service, the Gardaí in Cork, our off-duty staff, some doctors. There's a huge system there that is designed to try and save lives. And certainly that system starts by the person making the call and starting CPR, because often we find, if someone hasn't done CPR when we get there, albeit that our response to this was within 6 minutes to arriving on scene, including the first responders.
So you guys were 6 and the fire brigade was 3. And what I got a real sense of nobody will ever give up. You just keep on trying.
Yeah, it's all hands on deck when a cardiac arrest happens, and the Cork City Fire Brigade are instrumental in the city as well as the community first responders in that they'll always send the closest person. Same as the ambulance service, we will always send the closest available resource to something like this.
So we saw a massive response in the case of
massive response.
David.
Yeah, like the terrace above where it happened, was just a line of emergency service vehicles, all working together as we always do for the one goal, and that was to try our best to save Mr. Looney's life. Unfortunately, it didn't work on this occasion, despite the best efforts of everybody.
How do you cope with something like that when it's not successful in spite of the best efforts?
Yeah, I suppose it is disappointing for people, that, you're after doing everything you possibly can. And as we say, we now bring the hospital to the roadside or to the house. It's no longer a case of bundling somebody into an ambulance and heading for the hospital.
Work starts straight away at the point of call.
Work starts straight away.
But you must take it personally, though, the losses and the wins.
Even when, the call comes in, you're starting to plan, what you're going to potentially be faced with at the scene, what you need to do. And, sometimes despite your very best efforts, it's not always a success story. But I suppose the only thing we can take away from it is that we have done absolutely everything we possibly can for the patient and for the family, because we have to remember that the family become our patients as well. They're in a high stress situation, and we need to care for them as well and explain everything that's happening. And I think as a service we do that quite well, and working with the other services, again, that common goal is to do everything we possibly can.
How do you feel when you hear from time to time criticism of response times and the length that an ambulance must come from? Is that improving?
So, Neil, I suppose what's important to say about that is that we will always send the closest available vehicle to the sickest person. So people do need to understand, and particularly now we're coming into a busy period again, coming up to Christmas, and it is extremely demanding time of the year. But, somebody who may have cut their finger may have to wait that bit longer because, you know, like Mr. Looney, he suffered a cardiac
Life
arrest.
and
That's
death,
a
yeah.
very high priority call. So we will channel all our resources that we can to deal with the more serious patients. And yes, it does cause criticism. And, you know, I've heard people on air in the past saying, sure, Neill, there's a load of ambulances out in the Kinsale Road there. But, you know, yes, there are, but they're specialist vehicles, they're spare vehicles, and they're for night crews during, you know, that are just parked up. It doesn't mean that there's bums on seats to drive them. You know, everybody's on shift. But again...
But if there were more personnel, would those ones just be on the road 24/7 then, available, I'm wondering?
Look, I suppose, Neill, we're never going to have enough ambulances. It's after getting so busy, calls are increasing year on year, and if you had an ambulance on every street corner, you could guarantee that there'll be a call there for it. And that's why we use an emergency dispatch system that, based on what the caller tells us, it will triage the call, and it will always ensure.
Oh, listen,
are seen the quickest.
I understand that people who want to work in that profession do so because it's a passion of theirs. You wouldn't be clocking in and just riding the wave of, you know, pulling the check every month. You know, that wouldn't work for you. You wouldn't be able to do the job properly. Imagine it also must be kind of very frustrating to be, you know, stuck trying to get a patient in through an A&E, which sometimes can take hours. But that's the clogs in the system that need to be improved, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, and things have improved massively in that regard. The turnaround times at hospitals, there's so many other alternative pathways that we have now to keep people out of the A&Es as well. So we're all working together, and again, it's to try and do our best for the patients as quick as we can.
Okay.
But, you know, I suppose it is important to stress again that people who do ring 999 for an ambulance for minor injuries or ailments, that they will inevitably have to wait a little bit longer, but they should understand that we need to treat the sickest patients the quickest.
Okay, let that be the message. Yeah. No, this is about saying thank you and respecting and acknowledging the work that's done by all of our different service providers and those that come to people's aid when they pick up the phone. So it's a big thank you to everybody, including the National Ambulance Service, yourself, Ger, and all of the other different systems that come in, whether it's the ambulance or the paramedics or the Gardaí or hospital staff and those that save lives. So thank you for all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Neill. Appreciate it.
Take care.